Hi everyone, it's Dylan with Music Royale here. Today we're going to learn a great song called Paradise by the late great John Prine. Um, Overall the structure of the song is pretty simple. For the ukulele we have one tricky chord which is going to be called a D chord. First things first though, we need to go ahead and get our ukulele tuned up here. So the top string closest to our face here, that's called our G string. It's also called the fourth string. So we'll pluck that a couple times. You can tune up your ukulele and make sure it sounds the same. Great. Alright, our next string we call the third string. The note name is C for it. Sounds like this. Alright, next one is E. This is our second string. And last but not least is our A string, also called our first string. Great. And if you're having issues with that, we do sell these great little tuners here at Music Royale called Snarks. They're about $19.99 and it'll save you a lot of headache. Alright, so one thing we need to talk about here, this song it's a little bit different than some other songs, meaning most songs we listen to, we count to 4. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that would equal one measure. But this song, it's in time signature called 3/4, meaning we have 3 beats in each measure. 1, 2, 3. So it might feel a little different to us because we're normally used to having 4 beats in a measure. But once you get it, you'll be good to go. Alright. So let's go over our chords real quick. Our first chord in this song is a D chord. And what we do here is we're going to put our pointer finger, our first finger, on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, also called our G. Our middle finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, also called our C. And then our third finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the E string, which is our 2nd string. So it's kind of a tight fit here, so we have to figure out a good way to stack our fingers. What helps me is just to move my wrist to the left a little bit, and it helps me stack up my fingers. Should sound like that. So there's another way to play this chord. So if this is really difficult for you, I'm going to show you another way here. It's going to be the same frets, same strings. We're just going to flip our fingers around a little bit. So if the first way was too hard, you guys could try this one out too. So we'll start with our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, also called our G. Right below that, we'll put our 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, also called our C. Then last here, we'll put our pinky on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, also called our E. And if you notice, it'll sound exactly the same. So you might have to experiment a little bit, see what feels good for you guys. But either way will work. Great. Let's move on to our next chord here. So our next chord is G. This is a tried and true ukulele chord, very popular. So what we do for this one is we're going to take our pointer finger, we're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, also called our C. And then next, I like to take my middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, also called our A string. And then we'll bring our 3rd finger and we'll put it on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, also called our E string. And then what we'll do is we will strum all 4 of the strings here. Great. So that's the second chord in the song. Should sound like that when you strum it. All right, and then the last chord here is called A7. This one's a pretty easy chord to play. What we'll do is we're going to use our pointer finger yet again. We're going to put it on the first fret of the third string. And if you remember, that is our C string. We're going to make sure we use our fingertips here. We definitely don't want our first finger to touch any other string. We want all of them to ring out. So once you have your first finger on the first fret of the third string, also our C, you can pluck each note to make sure it rings out here. Probably sounds a little different than most chords you're used to. It is called a dominant chord. It's a good thing to kind of memorize because it sounds a little odd to our ears at first. So once you get these 3 chords memorized, you're ready to play the song. So the next thing we need to talk about here is our strumming pattern. And that's just the way that we hit our strings, and it helps us keep time as well. So we're going to break our strumming pattern up in what's called eighth notes. So I'll play it for you guys real quick. So we're going to do this. We're going to go 1, and we miss the strings there. Then we go 2, and 3, and. All right, so the most important thing here is that we miss the strings on the way up the first time, and that is on the and of 1. And you guys can reference the sheet that will be posted with this video for that as well. So I'll go ahead and strum it for you so you can hear how it sounds. And this is one measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Do that one more time for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and. And notice I missed on the and after 1. It's the only one that doesn't have a circle or an arrow around it on the sheet we'll be posting. So that's just one measure when we strum through that one time. Great part about this song is we don't have to switch chords a lot. So the first 2 measures of this song are a D chord. So we'll just do this. We go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Notice that's all on our D chord there. So that's 2 measures of D. After that, we'll switch to our G chord. Once again, we got our first finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. We've got our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. And we've got our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And we only strum one measure of G. And it'll sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Go ahead and try that. Great. Once you get that, we go back to our D chord for one measure. And once again, one measure is when we go one time through the strumming pattern. Sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Great. And then we have another measure of D. Sounds like this. And 2 and 3 and. Then we have another measure of D. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Great. And then next we've got our A7 chord. Remember, that one is the first fret of the third string, and we're going to use our first finger or our pointer finger. And also a great thing about the song, our strumming pattern stays the same the whole time. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then we switch back to our D chord. And then we finish it out with 2 measures of D. Should sound like this. And 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So when we combine all these together, we just keep repeating them throughout the whole song. It's the same for the verse and the chorus of the song. So here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and play through it real quick. Once again, before you play through, make sure your ukulele's all tuned up. And I'll go ahead and play through this for you guys real quick. And then we just repeat. And that whole pattern just keeps repeating over and over throughout the song. And then at the very end of the song, we're just going to end on our D chord with 1 strum. And just in case you forget any of the chords, it will be on the in the comments. We'll have a page for you guys with all the chord charts. If you guys have any questions, feel free to stop by the store, maybe pick up a tuner, ask us if you have any questions. And we'd also love to see your videos if you guys want to perform it and sing it, and then send it to us on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. That'd be great. All right, guys, good luck and have fun learning this one. Thanks.